Hey everyone, it's Sam here. Thank you for watching. So today I'm going to show you how I've made this fun moving card. I made this during a recent Facebook Live. I've got these lovely Daisy Mae snowman stamps, so I wanted a card that was going to show off the movement in the characters. Dead easy to make, you don't need any specialty dies, and you just pull the tab and then whatever character or whatever it is that you have attached will move, and you can have your tab anywhere on the card. So maybe you've got something with birds or a plane or hot air balloons, you could have your tab from this, you know, coming from the top. You could have it coming from this corner up here. You could even have it from the bottom if you want to move it around that way. So there's lots of ways to adapt this, you know, and make it work with whatever you have in your stash. And then tab just sits in there, just tuck him in, and that will fit into my 8x8 envelopes. It's a larger card style just purely because of the stamps that I'm using, but you can make this any size card. It's really easy. And then inside I've just used some of the scrap papers that I had left and the tree there. I'm going to change up the one I'm going to make today ever so slightly. I'm going to be using some acetates. You could also turn this into a shaker card as well if you wanted. So let's get started. So as always, I'll quickly run through all of the supplies. So the main stamps are these ones here. So that's the gorgeous skating snowman there, and that's from the Daisy Mae Snow One Like You, and the same sentiment that I used. This is today's gorgeous snowman there on the sleigh, and you can see how that looks when it's all coloured. And then I've taken all of like the decoration from the snowy scenes. So you've got the large tree there, you've got your North Pole, and then you've got the little robin there as well. You've got some other little ones there. I've added the Merry Christmas myself, and that was from an older Daisy Mae set, and it was this one here, which I think is the Red Robin set. I've used the pull from my Actions stamp set. I'll keep that one out because I need that one next. And then for the papers, I've used my old Christmas papers here, and it was this snowy scene, but I think it would look lovely with this one. I've got no more of that one left. But any kind of scenes, if you just want a quick kind of card, or you can obviously ink and stamp your backgrounds. To cut my aperture, I've used these inverted scallop squares by Creative Craft Products, but like I said, you could cut that using your trimmer if you don't have the dies. And then this one I'm going to be adding the acetate, and I've got the Snowfall acetate here by Hunkydory. This was the big 50 sheet pack, but they do a 5 sheet pack I believe as well, and I'll link all of that below. Okay, so I've gone ahead and prepared everything. So I've got my 8x8 card blank here. You can buy your 8x8 card blanks in the stores. However, if you do want to make this size, you'll need a piece of 8x8 and one piece of 8x8.5. And along the 8.5 side, you want to score at 8 inches. You've got your 1/2 inch tab, and you can see how I've stuck that 1/2 inch tab onto the 8x8 piece to form my 8x8 card. But like I said, I've only gone for this size because these stamps are big, and I will be hand delivering these cards as well, so I don't need to worry about my postage costs. I've then got this piece here with the pattern paper on, so there's a piece of 8x8 card behind, and then I've stuck my scene on the front there. I've used the construction glue because we're going to have our image on the front, and then there's going to be a magnet behind him, and then the magnet is going to be on the back here. So he's going to be pulling against and on this here. So if it's the paper that you use, it's going to be a bit too flimsy, and the weight of the magnets will dip. So I do recommend that you stick it onto a piece of cardstock. Like I said, I use my construction glue, which is the Collall Glue, but there's lots of other construction glues. Once that dries, it dries very, very firm and stiff. So it's perfect for this kind of style. What I've then done is I've cut another piece of 8x8 in white here. And then I've used one of the larger scallop. It's the second largest one that I used to cut my frame there. I've then cut this piece. This is optional. I like a little bit of bling on my cards. This is a piece of 7 3/4 squared. And then I use the largest scalloped die to cut this thin frame. And that is going to stick over the top here. So I'm just going to get that one stuck down first. Now again, the acetate is optional as well, but when I was doing the Facebook Live, what I found happened, because originally I had the tree on here, but as he was moving, he was catching on it. So if you can see there, I've actually curled all of this kind of side of him, just so that then if he was to go, you know, and hit the sentiment there, it wouldn't catch, it would just kind of roll over. And again, the edge here, his boot just kind of glides over that. So then I thought, well, why not use acetate so that he is completely enclosed inside, so he's not going to catch on anything, and then I can have all of these bits on the front of the acetate. So I've still got the decoration and he will still work. So my acetate is just under 8 by 8. So if it's a 6 by 6 card that you're doing, just have it slightly under that size. And then I've just added some red tape around the edges there. You just want to make sure that your tape is going to hide behind your frame. Like so. And then I'm just going to start in one of the corners there and drop that down like so. Okay, next I want to add my magnets. So I used, I think they were a 20 mil on the snowman, and you can find that Facebook Live in the description box below. These ones are slightly smaller, but they're all 1 mil thick, but I'm doubling them up, so I've got 2 mil there. And I'm going to stick it just behind there, I think. Or do I have it there? It depends. No, because I want to pull it from the left. That one's pulling from the right. This one's going to pull from the left. So I'm going to have that stuck down here. Now, if you want to enclose the magnet even more on this piece, then add a thin piece of paper or something over it. If you, I mean, I wouldn't recommend giving this to small children purely because of the magnets, and you need to be careful when you use magnets, like posting them and things like that. I will be giving these to my adult friends whose children are grown as well. So that's all secure there. And now I'm going to leave him just in there, and I'm going to stick this over. So what I've done is I've just ran some foam tape all the way around behind the frame there. If you want to pop anything else in here now, if you're adding the acetate, then you will need to, you know, get that all in place now. My sentiment, everything else is all going to go on the top. Like I said, the acetate is optional, so you don't need to do this. And I'm just going to lay that down, just line it right up with the scene behind. Like so. So right now he's just kind of loose in there, but because the magnet's in place, what I'm then going to do next is take, I've got these larger ones, but they're all stuck together. I need to get them used. There's going to be a little bit of bulk on mine, but like I said, I'm hand delivering this. So what I need to do now, you can see straight away the magnet has caught that, so it knows I can move that now. You can see it's quite fun. See what I mean? Maybe if you had a witch for Halloween or something, you could have your pull tab from the top. I think that would look quite cool. So I've got this piece here. I've cut 3 pieces of 1 by 8 inches. You're not going to need all of the 8 inches. We will trim it. But that's going to now stick onto here. But I also need to add my stopper here. It doesn't have to be a circle. I've just punched it quickly. It can be a square. As long as it's needs to be bigger than 1.5 inches, which is the size of the opening I'm going to give. So that's a 2 inch there, but it can be a 2 inch square. So I'm just going to stick that on the back there, like so. And then I'm going to take some more red tape, pop that on the magnet, and then just stick that in the middle there, or thereabouts. So now I can pull him. I don't want to pull it too much because my glue's still drying on there, but how nicely now does that move? Okay, I'm just going to leave that to dry for the minute. So he's kind of taken off, but I think that looks quite cool. Then I want to decorate, so I'm going to add the little North Pole just underneath there. And then I've got the tree here, which I'm going to still end up snipping just a little bit away there and probably have it more kind of there. And I'm going to have those there. So I think, oh, shame, I don't want to snip all of that away, but it's going to cover too much of the scene otherwise. So what I might do is I'll stick it down and then I'll snip off what I don't need. So yeah, I'm just going to get all these pieces in place. Okay, so that's everything stuck down. Then I think what I'll do is we get the foam now around this piece here. So I'm just going to run this foam. If you want to have, if you use thinner foam, then there's even more space for your character to move. But I think this is going to still give it plenty of space. I'm going to give myself, like I said, 1.5 inch gap. So let's see what we got there. Okay, so he will come up just a little bit higher. Mine could be 1 3/4 of a one, as long as it's not as long as it's no bigger than the width of the stopper. So whether yours is square, circle, whatever it may be. Like so. I'm going to take all of the release paper off and stick this onto my 8x8 card blank. Okay, so that's all secure, and then I need to trim off the back of my trees here. So that's now nice and neat, and then so that's as far as that's going to go. So I'm going to snip off, you want about 1/4 inch overhanging there. I am cutting through 3 pieces of card. There we go. And then I can just pull that out a little bit and stamp my pull. Okay, I struck a slight problem. Fortunately, because this is stuck, the foam's on acetate, I've been able to peel and get him out. What I'm going to do, can you see that moves? And it was catching, like it was going like this over his face. It would have bugged me. So I have just prized open the corner there. I think I've got away with it. I can always add a little snowflake or something over the top there, but I just want to kind of tack that in place. I don't mind it on there a little bit. I think it's probably better actually if it's not so loose. And I think because the movement, I don't know, it wasn't going as free as I'd like, I'm going to just take this off and I'm going to pop it, I think, kind of more in the middle of him. I'm going to test it whilst it's still open. I'll leave this in because I think it's handy for anybody who may, you know, stumble across the same kind of issue. You can, you know, still go in there and kind of play around with it a bit. So yeah, I think I'm going to pop it more in the middle. Just means it won't be able to go so far back in the card, so I might have to change where I put the pull. But like I said, this is a big image I'm working with, so okay, so this isn't attached at the minute, but if I just move it, it will grab. You can see it clicks in there. Yeah, that's better. It just, he has more, it just feels a bit more, yeah, I think that's better. It just feels a lot more, yeah, look, he just moves much better. So just play around, but now when I push him into like the final spot, can you see how much now I need to trim that again? So just play around, you know, maybe leave a little bit of the frame still open until you're happy with the movement. Again, I'm just going to snip away, which is why it's good to have it long, so you can go in and change it if you need to. And I'm just going to add a little bit of glue back over the foam there and stick that down. So that pull's still a little bit wet, so I don't want to do too much with it, but you can see now he just, yeah, he moves much better. So I'm just going to pop him kind of into his home down there. You can see the sentiment, everything else all stuck down there. And I'll just give that corner a little bit more time to dry. But there you have it. So those are my finished moving cards. Nice idea for any bigger stamps, I think. Sometimes, you know, big kinetic cards you don't really see a lot of. So I think it's quite nice to do something like that. And then, like I said, with regards to the magnets, if you want something a bit safer, then I would go for the acetate because it is all enclosed in there. Whereas with this version here, you can see, you know, you can take that off and it's there. I mean, I could close that over a bit more, but these are going to be going to adults, so I'm not too worried. So, you know, yeah, choose a style you like. Let me know in the comments, and as always, I will link all of the supplies that I've used in the description box below. You can check out the Facebook Live where I made this one and coloured it as well if you like to see the colouring, and I'll be back again very soon with more tutorials. Take care. Bye.